Collingwood coach Craig McRae, certainly a happy man. It was the Pies by 24 points over the Crows on Thursday night. Gingy, the Pies' use by hand, particularly inside, was crucial.
Yeah, this is how they get you. They get you with their corridor handball, and if you're not ready for it and you can't clamp it, then they get through and they pierce at speed. Just have a look at how organised they are. They don't have to hit multiple, they don't have to hit one or two. Bang, and gone through corridor. And it's Dacos on that occasion. Look at them set up. They want to own the outside and they want to own corridor straight away. And it's so aggressive, it's really difficult for the back six of the Crows to stay intact. When they win that back and cause a neutral ball, and then they go again. I thought the speed of Collingwood to be able to get from inside to out was significant. McCreery, DeGoey, Dacos, we talk a lot about those guys, but this was an Adelaide ball. So Adelaide couldn't do it. The pressure from Collingwood was immediate and it was intense. Same ball here from Collingwood, they find a way out. That was the gap in the game. They weren't tough enough, the Crows, and they weren't ready to handle the heat that Collingwood were putting to them. And I think that Collingwood were ready for it. They know what finals are about. They embraced it. They wanted it to come their way. And that's when their playmakers stood tall. Here, same thing again. That's a Crows ball. They're out and gone. But because of the heat and its immediacy, they're done. DeGoey doesn't quite get that one, stays in the fight. Ball spills. Now this is Collingwood's turn. Speed on ball, inside to out. Thank you, mother of the rabbits, as Rex used to say. So that's it in its simplest form, is that taking the game from inside to out, Collingwood big tick, Adelaide couldn't handle the heat.
It was a hot contest, and Nick Dacos at times was absolutely exquisite.
He was unbelievable. He's, I just wonder what the planning was, because they often had a tag or a match-up at the stoppage, but it was immediately after the stoppage. So it was almost first receive, or it was a 2-second delay. The Crows mids, they couldn't stay contacted with Nick. So it's coming on this occasion. So he sort of got him, and then they leave him, and then once you lose control of Nick, you're in real trouble. And people say, oh, you can't stay connected all the time, but yeah, this is what happens if you don't. You just get beaten by the star factor player, being able to only have 24 touches, but 8 score involvements. And what he did with his field kicking was unbelievable. We were there, Joey. Yeah. It was just a different game he was playing.
Yeah, it was. He had every kick in the kit bag, and he pulled it out. His left foot, right foot, inside, outside, and this is the problem about Nick Dacos. And why I was surprised they probably didn't put more attention on him. We knew that their midfield's a little bit thin, Adelaide, so, like some other teams, like Geelong would do, take away the opposition's best player. They didn't do that at all.
So look at that. Look at him contorting to take that clean, ready for the traffic, ready for the physical punishment that may come, that didn't come. I think Adelaide would be really disappointed with their work around contests in particular. Everyone says, oh, their shape, but just their effort, their application to denying Collingwood an easy exit.
It's great vision. He uses the outside of his boot almost better than anyone else in the competition. But have they brought back the torp as well?
Well, it looked like it. It looked like they had the torpedo licence. So the old traditionalists would like this, because on a number of occasions they went for the torp, which you don't really see, and it just did enough. So that Schultz torp just got over the back of an Adelaide defence that are eating. Look at this one from Maynard. The ability to get over the back of a team defence, it worked on that occasion. And then this one was the best of them all, again from Lockie Schultz. So I still think it's the most underutilised kick in footy, the torpedo, to try and clear these zoning defenders and the way it goes. And it looked like the Pies were talking about, Craig McRae said they were going to take risks, and it looked like they had a licence just to go for it.
You mentioned Braden Maynard on the defensive, and he had some massive moments, King.
Oh, they hunted the tackle. I mean, their pressure was not. Look at this. Knowing when to go, and then bang, arriving, bang, 2 in a row. I mean, that just lifts the whole team. Their tackle pressure, like, their tackle numbers weren't huge, 65, but they were brutal. They were just putting players in the scope and saying, we're coming quickly. And I think their pressure was over 212 when they got to that 7-goal run, but it was 194 for the whole night. If they bring that, it doesn't really matter who they play, they're in the game. And then you're relying on your star factor players to take control at some time. But the general thrust of what they do as a group is just bring pressure. Keep it simple.
And then the coaching element to it all, because last time they played, they had troubles with their efficiency inside 50. We thought, what adjustments are they going to make? Well, Craig McRae did have an adjustment. It was still side bottom, playing at half forward. He'd only spent just under 5% of the time this season playing as a forward. In the first 3 quarters tonight, it was on the game Thursday, it was over 40% as a forward, and it was his best game since round 13. He's one of the best rated players on the ground. There are the numbers, and to bob up with 3 goals, which he hasn't kicked since 2018, midway through 2018, the last time he did that, and the crucial ones early, throughout that third quarter that broke the game open. It was excellent because it's now the last 2 weeks he hasn't gone into a centre bounce. He was a centre bounce player early in the season.
Oh, yeah.
Fourth ranked at Collingwood. The last 2 weeks, they've skipped that plan and they've got a different role for him, and it had real impact.
It's a surprise move. What did you make of the Crows?
Well, it's similar to Kingy's point. I just thought they didn't challenge Collingwood when they did have the opportunity with ball in hand to be able to move the footy. So there were times where they win this ball. They've got numbers, to bring the ball inside, get to the open side. They just played two straight line. It was the pressure, the perceived pressure of what they thought was coming, that they just kept going straight down the line and they didn't challenge Collingwood. Look there, if he looks inboard, they've got all these players that they can fan and spread and get to the open side, bring the forwards into play. But they were only looking too narrow. They kept playing skinny side. Even again there, that's one kick into the corridor. You got a player out open side of the ground, but that's not what they were trying to do. And Collingwood were able to pick it off. No wonder they took nearly 30 intercept marks when that's the way that Adelaide presented. They only had 73 handballs at three-quarter time, Adelaide. That was their lowest for the year. So there again, use your hands, use your numbers and challenge. But instead, they just kept kicking it back. So I think they'll be looking at that and they need to challenge the Hawks more if they want to win this game next week.
Did they miss Isaac Rankin, King?
Well, the old saying is don't die with the music in you. OK, so I know he's a guy that can bring some magic. They need to play with some magic. They need to bring in Rochelle as an absolute gamble, and they need Dawson to get more aggressive, because without Isaac, they didn't have anyone that challenged at forward 50 stoppages. They really didn't. They didn't have anyone charging through at speed, no creativity with the hitting in terms of the ruck work. So they had 11 forward 50 stoppages for no score. They've been averaging 15 points a game from forward 50 stoppages with Isaac. 1 point and then 0 the last 2 weeks. So they need someone to take some risks. Don't die with the music in you. Don't just whimper your way out of this final series without firing a shot.
Been a big story, and he's been a big absence, no doubt about that. Right,